right, what should I do now?
Okay, just making sure of something real quick. Okay.
Found some tasty looking food. All right! This apple looks extra juicy.
Alright, everything seems to be working well. So, yep, let me just start. So, hey, yo, what's going on, guys? It is Ugly Face Gaming here, and welcome to my Dragon Ball Z Kakarot full game review. Now, I know I'm kind of late to this because this game obviously came out like almost a month ago, but I kind of wanted to not make a review of the game like everyone else was doing because I wanted to get into like the nitty-gritty of this game and actually see what this game had to offer before I actually do anything. So obviously right now it is February 8th and I actually beat the game, I believe, like 2 days ago. Like, I completely finished the game and the story. It took me a lot longer because obviously I'm a college student and I didn't have that much time to actually play this game. But if you guys are wondering how long this game actually took me to beat, this game took me roughly 30 to 31 hours to actually beat the main story, but that was mainly because I was doing like sub quests and everything along the way to level up my character. So yeah, it really did take me a long time. I believe they stated it was going to take like 40 hours for the story, and for me it actually took me 31 hours because I kind of rushed through some of the dialogue because I feel like it would be completely over 40 hours if you actually continued with the dialogue, because some of the dialogue is just useless and you could just skip through it like I did. But yeah, the game took me roughly around 30 to 31 hours to actually beat. So what am I going to start off with when actually talking about this actual game? It has to do with the campaign. So obviously I wanted to start off with the campaign first, mainly because of the fact that obviously this is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. It's basically retelling the story of Dragon Ball Z's Goku. So it's really cool how they actually implemented this RPG feel of a game, although it's not like an open world RPG like many people actually thought, because it's actually broken into, as you can see here, many different little places that you could actually go to. It's actually a really good game. And so obviously when it comes to the story, I really did enjoy the story. I found the story to be quite enjoyable, but as a Dragon Ball Z fanatic, quote unquote, because I really do like Dragon Ball Z, I realized that there was a lot of parts within this actual story that they actually took out. So there are some aspects from some moments in Dragon Ball Z that were like crucial to the actual anime that were not shown within this game. One of the examples that I could give to you guys right off the top of my head was the Vegeta scene on Namek, the scene where Vegeta meets up with Gohan and he asks Gohan, what's that in your hand? And Gohan says, oh, this is a clock. Like, it's a real life clock that I'm holding, not the Dragon Radar. When Vegeta actually goes and realizes that Gohan actually stole the Dragon Ball within the anime, they actually showcase like Vegeta screaming and being really upset at the fact that he let someone like Gohan actually, you know, get away with that. But within the actual game, they kind of just flew past that idea and they didn't even showcase anything. It was just like Vegeta flying. Like, it was really bad. But in terms of like the actual story, yeah, there were some pieces here and there that were actually not introduced, but they're just, like I stated, nitpicks. So overall the story was really good. I felt like at some points it dragged. Like, I feel like when it came to Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, it started dragging a lot during the Cell arc. In that part of the actual game, it started to drag on for a really long time. I felt like the Cell arc was just way too long. Like, there's so much stuff to do in that arc that it literally just dragged on forever. And then when it came to the Buu arc, the Buu arc was really quick. Like, there were some fights here and there, but overall it was just mainly cutscene, which in my opinion I was just like, what? Because there were some parts within the Majin Buu arc, like the first instance where it's Fat Buu versus Gotenks, they completely skipped that, and the only time we actually get to see Gotenks fight was when he was fighting Super Buu within the hyperbolic time chamber. So we skipped like 2 or 3 of Gotenks' actual fights, which in my opinion was just like insane. Like, why even do that? the Vegito portion of the game itself was like one fight and just a couple of cutscenes. Like there's like a lot of pieces within Dragon Ball Z Kakarot that I felt like could have been done better, but they just rushed through it just so you could actually beat the game faster. So overall, the story was really good. I just wish that they actually included like more stuff into it, if that makes sense. So overall, really good portion of the game, but I just wish they could implement more onto it. The other thing that I want to talk about is combat, because obviously this is a open world RPG. There's some elements of combat in here, obviously, to level up your character. Now this is where the actual kind of pointlessness of an RPG in terms of Dragon Ball comes in, because they really don't do anything new in terms of the combat. The combat is kind of fun at first because you get to like explore what you could actually do, but after a while it tends to get repetitive because you're just literally, as you can see, just mashing circle and just ending with a ki blast. That was my main combo for a majority of this actual game, and then it gets kind of broken because once you're in post game, you can actually just transform into Super Saiyan 3 with Goku and use the ultimate Spirit Bomb, and this ultimate Spirit Bomb just completely obliterates anything in its path. And if all the enemies are actually close to one another, it literally kills all of them, like with just one single movement. It is literally insane. Like every single Dragon Ball game has to have an OP move, and this ultimate Spirit Bomb is the move that's super OP within this game. So in my opinion, combat is actually very boring within this game, unless you actually do like the crazy Z tags, which you do by building up the meter by using assists like that. Other than that, in my opinion, the combat can get really repetitive really fast, and especially in early game, because in early game you really don't have that many moves to work with, so you're literally just doing your normal base combo and then ending it off with an actual like ki blast. So in my opinion, I wish they could have done more to actually implement more combos, or maybe that's just because I'm a basic player and I don't explore that much. I try my hardest to explore many different ways to actually come up with combos, but at the very end of it, for me, it was just pointless. Like, I just didn't even want to do anything anymore in terms of that. And obviously, you have, like, the movesets here, as well as the know-hows, which a lot of people don't necessarily use the know-hows, which is really weird. People don't know about this portion that actually boosts stats when you're fighting, which is weird. Like, people just look at the super attacks and choose that, but they never really look at this and see what they could actually do. So that's a little trip there, if you guys actually, not a trip, a trick for you guys. If you guys don't know, yes, use the know-hows. They're very useful in terms of combat because they give you certain stat boosts that you could use when actually fighting. And moving on to that, we have subquests. Now, when it comes to subquests are really good, because obviously this is an open world RPG. You need something to do that's not the main story, because if it was just the main story, you'd get through this game really quick. But the thing about subquests in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is the fact that they are all exactly the same. Every single subquest within this game has to either be you chasing off and fighting robots to save someone, or going off to a different portion of the actual map to get an item. So it's either a fetch quest or you fighting a robot. It's either one or the other, and in my opinion, that was just very tedious, because I hated going from one world to another to collect an item. And not only that, but if you actually played this game on launch, you would actually be hit with a long loading screen, which is one of the things I'm kind of glad that they actually did, was that they actually listened to the fans and they actually reduced loading times, because load times were just unbearable. Each load time, I believe, was roughly like 3 to 4 minutes of this loading screen. So if you had a fetch quest, it was literally you would go to one area of the map, move to a different area to fetch an item, get that item, go back to another place to fetch another item for that item, you know, leave that area, go back again to like get another third item, leave that area, go back to the main quest and finish the quest. So it was literally like a 2 to 3 minute subquest was just extended by like 8 minutes of loading screen. It was unbearable. I was so lucky that I actually got to play this game. Like, I was literally just kind of waiting for them to do that update, and once I saw there was an update for the load screens, it was just increasingly reduced. Like, it was like a 2 to 3 minute wait time, and after the update it was like 30 to 40 seconds of waiting. So, you know, thank you Bandai Namco for actually doing that. But like I stated, subquests were just as well just very, very mediocre, just because of the fact that it was literally just either fighting robots or getting fetch quests, which are not fun. I hated the fetch quests so much, especially since they only give subtle cues as to where exactly you need to go. Like, you actually have to pay attention to the text to know where to go. Like, sometimes they would actually showcase to you where you have to go, but sometimes they just didn't, and you just had to either look up a tutorial or just reread the text and see where they had to go. So when it comes to subquests, yeah, they were fun, and you got like the soul emblems and everything, but at the end of the day, it was just not fun to do. And then the other point that I actually have that has to do with combat are the mob fights. So as you can see within the gameplay, I'm doing a lot of mob fights. Now, these mob fights are usually used for you to gain experience points, but they are just not worth it. Like, if you're actually high enough level, you could do that, which is a instant victory, which I believe you have to be about 5 levels over the enemies. And if you're actually fly, you go straight through them and just end it. And when this happens, you get a little bit of XP, you get some orbs here and there for upgrading. But yes, these mob fights are just very, very annoying, especially if you're doing fetch quests and you have to grab something. There's always going to be a bunch of mobs there. So when you're trying to like fetch an item, they just come out of nowhere and just disrupt you before you can even pick up an item. Like, I can't even tell you guys how many times I was trying to collect Dragon Balls and I couldn't even get the Dragon Balls because I'd be hit with one of these mob fights. Like, these guys literally chase you forever, and I hate that. I hate the fact that they could chase you for so long. So in terms of the mob fights, they're usually here to just disrupt your gameplay and your flow, as well as for you to grind experience points. But this game is very, very picky with its experience points and leveling up system, which I'll get to later. So you really don't have to go through these mob fights. If I were you guys, I would just get into like a high level where you could just fly through them and you don't even have to fight them and you just get the instant victory. So yes, mob fights as well are very, very annoying, and I hated each and every one of these that actually came my way. So apart from mob fights, we have cooking. Now I feel like I'm being such a negative Nancy about this game, because when it comes to cooking, yes, there are things like cooking within this game where you can actually cook to gain base stats. As you can see on my screen, my party members actually have different stats boosted from cooking. You could either do cooking by going to a campfire, which I hardly could ever find, or you could actually go to the actual cook within the cities, like in this area, or you can actually go to Chi-Chi's house or Goku's house and actually give Chi-Chi the ingredients for her to actually cook you an actual meal. You could either do a regular meal or a full course meal. Full course meals give you more bonuses, not only to your character as permanent buffs, but you actually get temporary buffs, which I might be doing right here just to show you guys how it looks. The cool thing about it is that it actually gives you a really, really cool animation. I'm gonna just choose one just to show you guys how it looks. But when it comes to cooking, yes, it gives you buffs as well as temporary buffs, but at the same time, it's so unnecessary for you guys to actually cook. Like, throughout my entire playthrough, I never ever cooked at all. Like, my characters ate 0 food and I was still able to actually beat this game. So cooking is a thing if you guys actually want to boost up your stats, and if you're having trouble with bosses, you could use cooking to gain more buffs. But at the end of the day, you really don't need it. You could literally just get items, and those items, like healing items, can actually help you beat bosses. So in terms of cooking, it's fun to have it there, but at the same time, you don't need it. It's really unnecessary. Fishing for stuff, collecting apples and stuff like that, like just collecting food in general, is pretty not needed. Like, you don't have to fish, you don't have to collect anything. You literally just get some of these stuff from actually completing subquests. So just doing all of this stuff is not even necessary in my opinion. Like I stated, I didn't cook at all. I know a lot of YouTubers actually played this game and didn't cook themselves either. Like, it was literally just them going through the game. So in terms of cooking, you guys could use it if you're having trouble, but it's like not even necessary. So if you think that you actually need to cook in order to beat the game, don't worry, you don't. Unless you guys actually want to get the trophy platinum, then yes, you're gonna have to cook. I believe it's like a regular meal and a full course meal 5 times, so you need that for the platinum trophy. But like, other than that, you really don't need to cook at all. Now this next part that I'm actually talking about, it has to do with the command board. So if you guys don't know, they actually implemented this little section right here called community, where you can actually go to soul emblems and command board. So what the soul emblems actually do is that it gives buffs to your overall stats. It's kind of like cooking, but just with more of these type of emblems to actually put on boards for you to customize what stats you want to buff and which ones you don't. So as you can see, we actually have like a full list of characters, each with their own thing. I'm missing two, which one of them is Oolong and the other one is Cell. The reason I don't have these two is because for some reason my game is glitched and I can't get these two. Like Oolong was like in the very beginning of the game, but it glitched out for me, so I couldn't get them. And then for some reason Cell right now for me is glitching as well. So hopefully when I actually leave the game and come back, it actually lets me do these two. If not, then I'm missing these two, but you don't really need them as well. So yes, you have all of these soul emblems that you could put into this community board. Now when it comes to the community board, which one of these do I feel like you need to max out first? I highly recommend doing training. Now the main reason why you would want to do training first, apart from all the other ones, in my opinion, is mainly because of the battle XP percentage. So the higher the battle XP percentage you have, the more XP you're actually going to gain. So when I first played through this game, I put every single community board emblem on trading, just so you could actually like get more XP, because the XP that they give you is very, very little. So in my opinion, I wanted to boost XP in order to actually get more XP when I actually play through this game. As you can see, my battle XP is not at 100%, but that's because I already finished this game, so I just kind of just didn't even care anymore about XP. But yes, each of these soul emblems actually has some ties to it. So if you actually connect emblems together with all of these confirmed bonuses, you actually get more of the points for the actual command board. So it's very, very good if you actually have this, so you know which ones to pair. So yeah, in my opinion, if you guys are actually playing this game, which one do I feel like you should do first? I would recommend doing training, and the other one would be the Z Warrior community, just because it gives you actual stats to your key attacks, your melee attacks, and all of that. So I would highly recommend doing these two. But at the end of the game, when you actually finish doing all the subquests, you should have enough soul emblems to actually fill up each and every one of these command boards. The reason why mines aren't maxed out is because I still have to level up these, because you level them up by giving them gifts, and each gifts give them like a temporary like cap, or gives it more points for the overall community board. So I still need to level up some of these characters to get these maxed. But like I stated, I already beat the game, so I really don't need the maxed out community stuff. But for right now, I feel like this is really, really good. This is a really, really good implementation that they actually put within this game. But in my opinion, if I had to choose two of these, it would have to be training as well as the Z Warriors. The other ones, I guess, are somewhat like cooking, could be useful if you're actually into cooking buffs, but in my opinion, Z Warrior and training is the best in my opinion. Now this next one, like one of my final points, has to do with Z Orbs. Now, Z Orbs are, as you can see right there, stuff that you use to upgrade your characters in terms of their actual move sets. But, oh, what's going on there, Black Eagle? I'm just doing a little quick stream in terms of reviewing Dragon Ball. As of right now, I'm talking about the Z Orbs. So, as you can see on the right, those are the Z Orbs. Z Orbs can actually be collected, as you can see, anywhere within this actual map. You can actually just collect Z Orbs here and there. Like, they're literally scattered everywhere in terms of the areas that you're in. Now, the main reason why I feel like these Z Orbs are kind of useless is because all of these Z Orbs, once you actually collect them, they actually reappear. So you could literally get unlimited Z Orbs in all of these areas. You literally just have to wait for them to respawn. And the main reason I have some trouble with that is because, like, a person like myself, I thought they didn't respawn, so I spent hours and hours grinding these Z Orbs just to realize that they just keep on respawning. And it got to a point where I literally had so many Z Orbs that I don't even know what to do with it anymore. So obviously with the Z Orbs, you actually collect them, and you could go here to your characters, and within your characters you could actually hit the super attack skill tree, and right here is where you use your Z Orbs. Now, as you can see, like I stated, I spent so much time grinding that I actually have way too many orbs to actually use. As you can see, this one costs 600 green, 90 and 90 of red and blue, and I have like over 300,000. Like, in my opinion, I have way too many orbs. I feel like I could level up these characters to the max, and I believe when it comes to my Goku, I actually already have his skill tree max. So I literally have too many of these orbs. to get, so I just really don't know what to do with these orbs anymore. So let me actually move over to my Goku skill tree, and let me actually, yep, as you can see, like I literally have all of his moves maxed out, so I have like nothing to use for Goku anymore. In my opinion, the Z orbs are kind of useless after a while. Like and there are some points of the story where I didn't have Z orbs, but at the same time you could literally just go out and grind more. So yeah, at the very end of the day, Z orbs, in my opinion, they're really cool to have, but at the same time, if you actually spend a lot of time grinding or even using the Dragon Balls, which a lot of people do use the Dragon Balls for, you really don't even need them. Like by the end of the game, by doing all the story missions and doing all of the sub quests, you'll just have a bunch of Z orbs left over for you to do absolutely nothing. Wish they could add Super Saiyan God Blue and DLC. Yes, that's the one thing that a lot of people realize when they're data mining the game, is that they actually data mined Super Saiyan God. So I guess Super Saiyan God is going to be coming to Dragon Ball Z Kakarot in the near future, as well as Pikkon and Broly, because those characters are actually data mined as well. So hey, at least we're getting Super Saiyan God and Broly and Pikkon coming in the near future. So that's really cool. Nice find there though, Black Eagle. I really hope that they actually bring Super Saiyan God Blue into this. One of the final things that I do want to talk about is grinding. So this is gonna be like my last overall point in terms of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot and its mechanics. When it comes to grinding, don't grind XP. I highly recommend not grinding XP. The main reason being because of the fact that when you actually grind XP, there are multiple ways you could grind XP. One is by doing that, by defeating mobs. It gives you around 68 to 70,000 XP, or each mob actually varies depending on their level. Sorry about that. So yeah, you could either face off against the mobs to gain XP, but don't do that. I spent a lot of time grinding mobs and grinding villainous enemies to gain XP, and that did not work for me. The only way I actually managed to level up is by completing story missions, because this game, no matter how hard you want to grind, it will not work. This game will level you up the way it wants to level you up, because you could either get 60 to 70,000 killing mob fights, or you could get like 3 million XP doing story missions. And in my opinion, that kind of just brought me away from actually doing, you know, side stuff, because the side missions, the sub quests, the mob fights, all of those give you just roughly really small amounts of XP, and by doing story missions, it literally just throws XP at you, which is something that I just didn't even like. I would literally just hop into a fight and it would literally just pair me up with like an enemy that was my level, and it would just give me like 1 million, 2 million XP. Even towards the end of the game, at the end of the game where you're doing the Buu Saga, it just gives you so much XP. I think one mission gave me like 20 million XP without even doing anything. Like, it's just a waste of time grinding XP in this game. Unless you really want to grind XP, especially after the game, you actually do have to grind XP in order to stand somewhat of a chance against the secret boss. But with Goku Super Saiyan 3 and just him being able to actually throw said Spirit Bomb attack, it's really just useless if you actually want to grind for XP. So in my opinion, when it comes to XP, don't grind XP. Just keep on doing the story and you'll get through it just fine. I believe by the end of the game, my Gohan was like level 85, almost 90, and my Goku was like 80. So at the end of the day, don't even grind XP. It's not even worth it. And the final point I want to talk about before I actually end the stream and give my overall thoughts and opinions about the game has to be the Dragon Balls. So towards like a little bit within the game, I believe it's after the Namek Saga, you actually get access to the Dragon Balls, and you start off with only having one wish, but then you actually gain more and more wishes. So at the end of the game, you can actually have 3 of the actual wishes that you could do. And I will show you right now. So the Dragon Balls are actually scattered all around the actual worlds. So out of all the worlds, you could actually get like 1 Dragon Ball per area. So you just have to collect the Dragon Balls, and they have like a 20-minute cooldown. So if you're just grinding Dragon Balls, you could literally just grab the Dragon Balls, make the wishes, and then just go straight into the actual world. Just leave your game, go do something, like go do homework, go do something else, wait like 20 minutes, and you will get the Dragon Balls back. Now where is the Dragon Balls? Right here. Let me actually fly towards it. But yeah, the Dragon Balls are really, really useful sometimes, but now that I beat the game, I find them useless. Like, I really have no need for them anymore. Let me just go all the way down here. As you can see, Dragon Balls are literally just lying around here. Pick that up. And then you just go down here to Dragon Balls, and as you can see, you can make 3 wishes. You can either wish for more orbs to be rich, which like I stated, Z orbs you don't really need because you get them within the story. You want to be rich is to get more money, which money is actually good for buying heals. Extra rare items are just so you can level up the command board, and as you can see, you could actually wish for opponents to come back to collect their soul emblems. So you could do that, but I already finished doing all of them, so for me, I could only get Z orbs and money and rare items, which I don't even need anymore. There's a really, really cool animation, which I'm gonna let play.
I shall grant one wish, anything that is within my power. State your wish.
And then as you can see, we get orbs, we get Zenny, we get rare cooking items, as well as those things at the end of presents, which are used for the actual soul emblems. And then the Dragon Balls just go away. And then you click, and then you go to Dragon Balls, and as you can see, the Dragon Balls have turned to stone. 20 minutes left until so it's always going to be 20 minutes that you're going to have to wait for the Dragon Balls. Now, at the very beginning of the game, it's very, very useful to have the Dragon Balls because you could wish for more money and more orbs to level up your character's moves and get money for heals, as well as bring characters back to fight for their soul emblems. But after you're done beating all the enemies, there really is no need for the Dragon Balls. I wish they could have like another section which is to level up more, gain more XP like they did with the Xenoverse Saga. But yeah, in my opinion, the overall just Dragon Balls, as I stated so much, and I feel like such a negative Nancy, are completely useless after a point. So everything in this game after like a certain point are just completely useless. So like cooking, collecting Z orbs, Dragon Balls, a lot of this stuff is cool to have, but it's completely unnecessary to actually have. So my overall opinions about this game, I don't even know what to say, because at the end I really did enjoy this game. I remember when I was actually playing this on Twitch, I rated it like a 7 out of 10. I was actually going to rate it lower, but then I got to the Boo arc, and the Boo arc just did such an amazing job with the visuals that I kind of have to give this game like a 8 out of, no, not an 8, like a 7 out of 10. As a huge Dragon Ball fan, there were a lot of things missing within this game that I wish they could have added. So as a Dragon Ball fan, that's why I give it a 7, because overall this game is kind of just mediocre. It is really, really fun, but it does get boring after a while with all the repetitive side quests, the useless grinding, the game just giving you XP just for no reason, and then obviously the cooking is just completely useless. Dragon Balls are useless. Collecting orbs like I'm doing right now is useless. There's just a lot of useless things within this game that I wish they could have made better. Like if they would have made cooking a really, really huge component, that could have been really, really cool. If orbs would have been limited, so that way you only have a limited amount of moves that you could unlock, that could have been cool. But they didn't. Like they just made everything just free access for you, and everything is just so useless that you really could just go through this game without even having to collect orbs or cooking. But at the end of the day, it is a full entire game, and I did enjoy playing the game. Like I stated, the game actually took me like 31 hours to beat. To actually get the platinum trophy, it took me, I believe, 49 hours, so almost 50 hours total playtime to get the platinum trophy, which if you guys are platinum collectors, I highly recommend getting this game, because this game's platinum trophy is it's just so easy to get platinum within this game, because you literally get all the trophies just for doing like the randomest stuff. So in terms of platinuming this game, it was really, really easy. Overall I really did enjoy the game. Like I stated, as a Dragon Ball Z fan, I would give this game a 7 out of 10. I wish it could have been better, but it's just like any other Dragon Ball game. But if you're a Dragon Ball person, like a person who's trying to get into Dragon Ball and you get this game, I highly recommend getting this game if you're, you know, entering the actual world of Dragon Ball, because this game just has so much to offer for newcomers. So like if you're a newcomer, this game would be like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, because it's not perfect by any means, but if you're getting into Dragon Ball, it's a really, really good game, and at the end of the day, I highly recommend you play this game. But that's kind of just my review of this game. I went over all the things that come within this game, as well as my opinions on them all. But at the end of the day, what do you guys think about this game? Make sure to leave it in the comment section below. If you do enjoy this type of content, make sure to leave a like as well as subscribe for future content, because One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows fighting game, is coming out this month, and even though a lot of people are hating on it, I'm really excited to pick up that game, as well as Final Fantasy is coming out, so I really can't wait for that game. And at the end of the day, like I stated, don't take my review for granted. Like, if you enjoy this game, by all means enjoy it, because it is a really, really fun game. It just wasn't a perfect game in my eyes. So maybe you guys have a different opinion. Like I said, please let me know within the comment section below. And yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. But before I end, let me actually read this, because I do have something to say about this. Black Eagle states, "Are you excited about Dragon Ball FighterZ character reveal tomorrow?" Yes. Although it is, I already know it's going to be Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, and I know a lot of people are going to hate that it's another Goku coming. I don't even care. The scans that they actually show for this character look super, super dope, and I honestly cannot wait for this character to be revealed and to showcase to you guys the moveset when he comes out in FighterZ. But like I stated, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.